at the Ill. uh, so, Rachel, you're an artist.
Yep.
You care for Molly, your daughter,
Yeah.
who's recently had her 21st birthday.
Yep. January.
You're a campaigner for adrenal
It's
support, adrenal insufficiency.
a rare pituitary, yeah, a rare pituitary disorder that Molly has. And yeah, I'm just campaigning at the moment to get some new medication. So been on that for about 6 years now, and had a meeting in London before. We've got a pharmaceutical company developing some medication now, so it's all going really well. Although
Brilliant.
it's all kind of stopped at the moment, but
Yeah.
hopefully
Well
everything
done.
get back to normal soon.
Yeah. Um, so I thought it would be really interesting for you to share about how uh, Molly's health condition has isolated you very much from
Mm,
society and how you've dealt
yeah,
with that.
yeah. Well, it's it's not anything different this me really now. When Molly was born, the first time was three. Well, I had her in the car. Something wasn't quite right. I was quite poorly when I was pregnant, and then I had Molly in
Yeah,
the car in about 20 minutes, and
yeah,
from then on, there were just like these little signs that there were things wrong. So in the first
yeah.
3 weeks, she had these hernias sort of pop up in her groin, and she she used to scream in pain for like 6 hours a day with colic because all of her intestines were
Oh,
all, it was so windy. And then at 6 weeks she
right.
got really poorly, ended up in hospital with bronchiolitis. And from then on, really, every sort of 3 to 4 weeks Mol would be poorly. She would just catch a cold and it would get
Yeah,
worse and worse, and we'd end up in hospital. She'd end up having physiotherapy, and so it became a kind of a way of life. And
yeah,
there was this thing that I knew, I kind of knew how to look after her. Like in summer, the babies would be out in their little dresses, in their prams and things, and Molly would be there with a blanket on and a fur coat because
yeah,
she couldn't regulate her body temperature.
yeah,
She used to be cold all the time,
yeah,
to be cold. Um, and so had to kind of protect her. And when she started preschool, that's when it started getting even worse because
yeah.
she was mixed in with the other kids, and she literally just caught a cold, got worse and worse, ended up in hospital with chest infections and pneumonias. She had double pneumonia when she was 3, and she
Wow.
was really, really poorly. She's in an oxygen tank at 13 months, and she was just, it was like that all the time. So
Yeah,
I kind of couldn't, I just couldn't do anything. I couldn't have a normal job
yeah,
because she was poorly all the time.
yeah.
So when she did get ill, it would be about 3 weeks of physiotherapy, antibiotics, and maybe a week in hospital. And then a week after that, she'd get poorly again, and the whole thing would start again. So
Yeah,
that was literally my life. And that's been my life now
yeah,
for 20 years,
yeah,
21 years.
yeah.
And I've always felt this thing. I've always been scared, I think,
You've always
because
been,
it's a scary thing, and there's
yeah,
16,000 deaths so far or something like that.
yeah,
And it's scary for people and it's frightening for people. But I've always had this fear with Molly
yeah,
because she only has to get a cold. And when she was very young, I mean, we could have lost her at any time. It was
yeah,
always very frightening. So I've had this scenario in my brain, in my mind, for 20 years now.
yeah.
And yeah, and when she was little, I was really lonely because there was no internet then. There was nothing. There was
Yeah.
no social media. There was
Oh,
nothing
yeah,
at all. And I was
yeah,
just literally at home, all the time on my own, and I just have myself for entertainment.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just, I've only got through this with humour and positivity, I think.
Yeah. That's
So
why I laughed when you said about having
like
Molly in
my
the
life
car, because
hasn't changed.
yeah, that's why I laughed when you said about Molly being
Sorry.
born in the car. That's why I laughed when you said
Yeah.
about Molly being born in the car, because the way that you've spoken
Yes.
about it in the past has always made me laugh. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It is the funniest story in the world. It's hilarious, honestly. Every time I tell it, it's just so funny. Although at the time it wasn't, but you
No.
kind of have to turn these things around and look for the humour in everything, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the fact that Martin is running down attached to a string in a car, and it's just like 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's so surreal. The whole thing was
Yeah.
just mad. And
Yeah.
that's sort of how our lives are, really,
Yeah.
quite a lot of the time. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, Molly wasn't diagnosed until she was 14,
Yeah.
and so she was going around with life-threatening disease for 14 years that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
And if anything had have happened to her, I always knew that I had to be very over
That you had to be very.
going into it, because she didn't have the mechanisms in her body to keep her alive like we keep ourselves alive.
Mm.
So she didn't have any adrenal function, which
Mhm.
is that's what keeps us alive. We have a natural steroid,
Yeah.
and it keeps us alive. It
Mm.
releases all the way through the day, and
Yeah.
she didn't have no growth hormone. She had no thyroid function. So we don't know how she got through 14 years. She just stayed alive, really, because she was on such a high steroid treatment for her asthma. So her asthma kind of saved her
Okay.
life, but it just
Wow.
kept her bobbing along, and that's why she was so poorly for all of that time. And literally there
Wow.
was no need for it, because she should have been diagnosed at birth. So
Yeah.
all of those years and all of that suffering that she's had, and we've all had, really
Mm.
shouldn't have happened at all, and it's really sad.
Mm.
um, but it has well
Yeah.
prepared me for now. So where everyone else is suffering quite a lot, I'm like, oh, I quite like everyone's at home now and I'm not by myself, you know. I
Yeah.
think learn to space my life out, really. And
Yeah.
just when you're in hospital with a little one, it literally 1 hour is like, I mean, it is hideous. And sometimes she's in there for 2 weeks, so you have to space the time in your brain, and it's such a
Yeah.
weird thing to say, but you have
Yeah.
to not get up, start running around and doing things and getting all these things done and ticking all these boxes off and blah, like that. Just take it back a little bit and try
Yeah.
and space the time in your head,
Yeah.
because you've got more time. Like, I've always had too much time.
Yeah. I can understand that now.
But yeah, it was still very, very lonely for all of those years.
Yeah.
So I've been doing all of the posters for town for the last 11, 12 years now.
And that's how we met.
And it's just doing things like that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And that's how we
Yeah,
met.
yeah, it was. Yeah. It was, yeah, yeah, all those years ago. My goodness.
Yeah.
And just doing things like that, to make yourself feel a bit useful, because
Yeah.
I felt very, 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 oh, just like, you feel quite worthless sometimes, because you're not out and
Yeah.
about doing what you want to do. You're not,
Yeah.
you haven't got a career. You haven't
Yeah.
got everything up yourself. There's and if you want something, you have to go and get it. You have to just keep positive, I think. Like
Yeah.
with hospital and things like that, you know. I just have to do because I can't just sit and do nothing.
Yes.
So I think now we just spend our time just being together really, and
Yeah. Because
doing
Molly's one of four
little
children.
projects.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Molly's one of four children.
say that. Molly, yeah,
So Molly is
yeah,
one of four children.
yeah, yeah. Molly's number two out of
So
four.
you've had to juggle that. So you've had to juggle that,
Yeah,
uh, isolated with having a family.
yeah, yeah. It is really difficult because obviously I do my artwork and things like that, but it's not a job. It's not a full-time job that's giving me and giving us an income. You know, I mean, I
Yeah.
do get the odd good jobs and whatever, but
Yeah.
it's not an income. And Martin has to work sort of 12 hours a day every day. And he has done ever since, you know, forever. And so, yeah, it's just been me and the kids. And then when Molly got really, really poorly, we had just started doing up this house. So he was away for like all of the whole week at work and
Yeah.
then away up here at weekends. And it was literally just me and the kids. And it's really difficult because Mole's been so poorly. I could never commit to anything, and Poppy always wanted to be in a girls' football team, and
Oh,
it was on a Saturday, and I could never ever commit to getting her there on a Saturday morning because I knew that I couldn't get Molly. Sometimes, you know, you just can't get Mole out of the house.
yeah.
I mean, we used to carry her everywhere.
Yeah.
She literally went everywhere on Martin's shoulders,
Yeah.
and he was known as the hockerus. I don't know what a hockerus is, but he was one of those. And she went everywhere on his shoulders. So wherever we went, we carried Mark, and and you know look after her. The kids know that they have to look after Moles. I mean, Primrose, she's no, she's like all the kids know that Mole just needs a little bit of extra care,
Yeah.
but she doesn't get treated any differently at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
And you know, Josh is at university doing his master's degree. Pops is doing really good at school, going to do her A levels. Primrose is doing her
Yeah.
thing. She's going to drama
Yeah.
and stuff because Mole's older now, so I can leave Molly to
Yes.
Pops while I take Rosie to drama. And it's nice because Mole's a bit older, so you know the little one can
Yeah.
do things now, but they all realise that Moles needs a little bit more care,
Yes.
but Moles is the same in the brain as all of them. You know, she just
Yeah.
doesn't have the physical ability to be able to do things.
Yeah.
But her writing's amazing. She started writing disability blogs, and she's in Anne Haggerty off the Chase soon, and so it's all quite
Brilliant.
exciting. And she is
Brilliant.
a brilliant writer, and she's got it all in the head, but it's physically. And another thing with being stuck inside, it's quite frustrating trying to, you know, keep Mole's mental health good as well
Yes.
because she wants to be doing things
Yes.
out or do off in an ambulance to hospital. Was only about 12 as little. It's hard to have that life, which is so frightening at times, and see your other kids having to go through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just she's quite good generally. So yeah, it's not great, it's not brilliant, but we've always had to pull together and be together. So we're all like best friends, you know. We laugh
Yeah.
every day. The thing that we're doing at the moment is trying to find something to look forward to every day, because it is very different for like Pops and Martin, and Primrose,
Yeah.
because like Martin's out the house, he gets up at 5:30, he's out the house, he goes out and he's gone for 12 hours a day, and then he comes home
Yeah.
and he just got assets you wouldn't believe. I mean, he's built like a 9 foot planter. He's built a gate. I mean, it's just the things he's done is just unreal. When he goes back to work, my house is going to look like a palace. He's out there at the moment digging something or other. He can't keep still. And we all had a bit of a wobble when it rained on Monday. Last Monday, it rained
Yeah. Yeah.
just awful. I mean, God, you know, but it's just a case of trying to like keep upbeat all the time and
Yeah.
keep positive. And I think that
Yeah.
that is the key thing with all of this, is
Yeah.
that it will all be over soon. It'll all be
Yeah.
over, and we'll be thinking, oh, maybe I should have had a bit more of a rest. Now back at work and everything's gone
Yeah.
crazy again. But it
Yeah.
ain't gonna be over for me, because this is this is my life, you know. And
Yeah.
I'm
This
just
is your
glad that,
reality.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, all we do is I like to do lots of like artwork and things like that, and I've got my Doodle Days project, you know, with the art therapy things, and I go
Yeah.
and visit old ladies and stuff in residential homes, and we do art together, and it's amazing. I've got my page, and I've
Yeah.
got quite a little people now looking at the page, and there's things on there to do, like
Yeah.
crafty things, and I've done a nice colouring that I've put up there as well.
Nice.
Colouring in rainbow colours, and lots of people have been colouring those in and sticking them in the windows and stuff,
Mm.
and just things like that, really, just keeping busy. And
Yeah.
I can make something out of anything, me. I can, like, you know, any old crap lying around.
I love
I
that.
can I just we just
I love
we
that.
just make stuff. Like yesterday we made a pirate ship. It took all day. It was only an old milk bottle and a load of old crap, but it took all day. And today we're going to sail it in the
Brilliant.
paddling pool. You know, just things like that, just to keep
Brilliant. Yeah.
keep busy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And after this chat, can we share some of your doodle pages which people can download,
Yeah, of
which you've
course.
made? Yeah.
I put I've got my whole colouring book that I did for Molly. I've uploaded every page of that is uploaded now, so people can download, colour them in. And
Nice.
I just find that colouring in, or just doing something, just doing a drawing, doing anything just different and creative, and it really helps, like, mentally.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
calms down your mind, you know.
Yeah.
It really does help. So I've given a load of those. The women's prison had a box. Different residential homes and stuff. I give them away, you know, just for people who have got time, really. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what they were designed for, people who have time,
Yeah.
um, and are lonely generally. I mean, that was
Yeah.
before all this happened. So it
Yeah.
does really help. And I have lots of emails and
Yeah.
things from people saying, "Oh, I've just spent like 6 hours colouring in this page. How on earth did you come up with that in your mind?" And it was
Oh,
because
amazing.
of my boredom.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, one of those colouring pages might have taken me, it probably took me a day, some of them, because they're so
Yeah.
intricate, and there's like a little mouse in every page to find. And I
Amazing.
did all those when I was in the oxygen tank with Molly, because I had sat in an oxygen tank with her for the first 2 years that she went. So we were sat in there for a couple of hours every day, and I was quite claustrophobic. And it is like literally like a submarine, which is pressurized, closed. You can't get out of it. It's tiny. It's
Right.
got 6 seats in it. and I was the most claustrophobic person in the world. So that's where I started doing these colouring pages, and
Wow.
yeah, so that's where it all started really. But yeah, they're all on online, just download it out and colour in, and it's just
Amazing.
something to do, isn't it? Just something different
Yeah.
to do for a while.
Yeah. So at the end of the chat, could you drop the link in the comments for
Yeah, of
the for your
course.
doodle pages?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll be putting some more
So
things
so
up as
now
well.
I feel, yeah, I feel like I have a sort of tiny bit more understanding of your situation now.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
It's
obviously not, but but before I had no understanding at all.
mm,
Whereas now I have at least the experience of being uh, unable to, yeah, all of that, being unable to mix and being unable
yeah,
to go into something.
yeah.
It's
Because yeah, I'm
it's
really,
it's
I
tough.
really love people, and
Yeah,
I'm really social. I'm a sociable person, and I love
yeah,
people, and I hate being on my own. I always
yeah,
have hated being on my own, and I
yeah,
always will. But since Molly started growing up, and the kids have started growing up, they've all become my friends. So that
yeah,
I've got friends at home now. So I've grown them
yeah,
into nice friends.
yeah,
But so
yeah,
yeah, it's nice, but yeah, of course I would love to be out there doing my thing. I mean,
yeah,
I'd love to have a career. I'd love to be an illustrator, or I've started doing public speaking a bit with Moles's condition and her story, and people are really interested in it, and they're
yeah,
really from the birth right to the now. And so I'm writing a book at the moment about it, and
wow,
yeah, people are really interested in it, and it's quite nice to have people understand what it's sort of been like for all of those years, and it's
yeah,
not been like a barrel of laughs for the whole time. I mean, I've spent so much time scared witless with Molly. She
yeah,
frightens me to death, and she gets so poorly. And
yeah,
like in the pit of your stomach, when you're worried and you have that pain. And I've spent so much of my life like that, and it is horrible, absolutely horrible for her to be that way. And I would do anything to make her better. And I think that
yeah,
I probably would move the earth to make her better. And I think that I have tried to do that as well. All the but um, yeah, and I've been depressed too, and it's horrible. I mean, when she was diagnosed, Molly literally spent 2 years asleep. And I slept
spent 2 years asleep.
every day, all day for 2 years, and I was just
Wow,
stuck in all that time. And I got
wow,
into a when she goes because the diagnosis was frightening. And the reality kind of just hit me like a brick. And the fact that she could have died at any moment. She was walking on a cliff edge for all of her life, and then she got really, really poorly. So literally all I did was I would take Pop up to school, which was over the road, in the car as quickly as um, if I could get honestly, it was so worrying. She just slept.
mm,
That was all she did. Um, and luckily, we had started the oxygen treatment. You know, she is better now. She's